The vast emptiness of space was interrupted by the sudden flare of a distant explosion. A huge armada of the Cormac Empire had assembled, ready to finish what they had started, a war that would wipe out the last of the human colonies. They had underestimated Earth's final resistance, assuming that it would crumble under their might, but they were wrong, very wrong. The Cormac Empire, known for its ruthless efficiency and technological superiority, had crushed countless civilizations in their path. They had invaded the human colonies years ago, expecting to finish the job quickly. Earth, however, had fought back with a tenacity that none had anticipated. Even when their colonies were falling one by one, the humans never gave up. They knew they were the underdogs, but they still fought like lions. Now, their fleet was all but destroyed, and only one ship remained. The flagship of the Cormac fleet, the Empress Wrath, floated majestically among its battle group, ready to destroy the last of the human resistance. Its sensors were scanning the nearby sectors for the last human vessel, a single ship that had somehow evaded their forces for months. The Indomitable, as it was called, was piloted by an experienced crew, led by Commander Lucas Grant, the man who had become the symbol of humanity's defiance. Grant stood at the command center of the Indomitable, his eyes fixed on the vast expanse of stars outside. His ship, a stealth-class vessel of human design, was the last hope for humanity's survival. After countless battles, it had come down to this: one ship, one final battle against the might of the Cormac Empire. The odds were nearly impossible, but Grant had never been one to surrender. "We've come this far," he muttered to himself. "We can't let it end here." Behind him, his officers worked furiously at their stations, their eyes locked on the screens in front of them. The Cormac fleet was closing in, their warships lined up like a wall of doom. They hadn't anticipated the humans' final weapon, the ship they thought they had destroyed but was somehow still standing. "We've got one shot at this," Grant said, turning to his team. "Prepare the main cannon. All power to the forward disruptor array. If we can't make this count, we're done for." The tension was palpable, every officer aware that this was the end. If they failed, humanity would be wiped from the galaxy forever. But if they succeeded, they would send a message that would resonate across the stars. Humans were not to be underestimated. The Empress Wrath was now in range, its enormous form filling the view screen. The Cormac flagship was ready to strike, its massive weapons primed and ready for destruction. The commander of the fleet, General Torth, looked out of his viewport, a confident smile on his face. The humans had put up a good fight, but now their time had come. The last of their resistance would be erased. "Commence fire," General Torth ordered, his voice cold and commanding. Laser beams and energy blasts rained down from the Cormac fleet, lighting up the darkness of space. The Indomitable darted and weaved between the incoming fire, narrowly avoiding each blast with expert maneuvering. Grant's hands flew over the control panel as he guided the ship with precision, every movement calculated. His crew worked in unison, their training kicking in as they prepared the final weapon. "Ready in 10 seconds, the chief engineer called out. The countdown echoed in the silence of the command center. Grant's heart raced. This was the moment. The Indomitable had a single shot at turning the tide. "Prepare to fire," Grant barked. The forward disruptor array, a weapon of incredible power, charged up, its energy building to a blinding intensity. The Indomitable's sensors were locked onto the Empress Wrath. It was a direct hit or nothing at all. Grant's hand hovered over the firing button. The Cormac fleet closed in, their fire intensifying. The human ship was too fast, too unpredictable. The Cormac warships couldn't keep up. Just as the Empress Wrath fired its deadly energy beams, the Indomitable fired first. The shot was perfect. A massive surge of energy erupted from the Indomitable, sending a brilliant beam of light racing through space. The Cormac flagship had no time to react. The beam struck the ship with devastating force, breaking through its shields and striking the heart of the vessel. The explosion was catastrophic, vaporizing the Empress Wrath in a single flash. The rest of the Cormac fleet, in complete shock, hesitated for a moment, unable to comprehend what had just happened. "We did it," one of the officers shouted. The explosion of the Empress Wrath sent shockwaves through the Cormac fleet. Ships nearby were caught in the blast, their hulls buckling under the shockwave. Panic spread through the enemy ranks as the human ship danced between the remaining Cormac warships, picking them off one by one with expert precision. For the first time in years, the Cormac Empire began to retreat. The once unstoppable force that had terrorized the galaxy was now scrambling for survival. Commander Grant watched in silence, his heart pounding in his chest. It wasn't over yet, but the tides of war had shifted in an instant. All ships, prepare for retreat, General Torrett's voice crackled through the communications channels. The Cormac forces began to break formation, their unity shattering as they fled from the human ship's relentless assault. "We've won," Grant said quietly, almost in disbelief. But the war is far from over. The Indomitable hovered in the aftermath, its crew battered but triumphant. Humanity had delivered the blow that would change the course of history. The Cormac Empire had been shocked by the courage and determination of a lone human ship, and the galaxy would never forget the day the humans stood their ground and proved that they would never be wiped out, no matter how powerful their enemies seemed. For now, the human race had won a battle, but the fight for the galaxy was far from finished. The war had only just begun.